Confidence. Confidence. Join us, please. Confidence. Just go ahead and peek the audio right out of the way.
You egged us on.
Sorry, you're right. Guys, hi. Welcome back to this week's episode of Confidently Insecure, the podcast where we are absolutely sure we don't know everything. And boy, what a fucking time, you guys. I should introduce everyone we have here. We have Noe Towers. You guys have seen on multiple episodes. My co-host on Dating No Filter, comedian, twink extraordinaire.
Wow.
Or otter.
Old twink.
Yeah.
Otter. Fresh. Yeah. Solid otter. Old twink.
We have done it because I can hear you better without it.
Okay.
You've done a couple episodes of the podcast. Everyone loves you. You're very funny.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Noe Towers, gay male.
Hi.
Welcome back to the podcast.
Gay male.
Then we have me, your host, Kelsey, darragh, queer person and host. Thank you for having another episode, Kelsey. You're welcome, Kelsey. Then we've got, if you were a BuzzFeed fan, you might remember this guy. He was on 2 episodes of Adult Shit. He's one of my best friends, my favorite filmmaker, and BuzzFeed star, Steven, also known as Stove Kanter.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Oh, that's something.
Honor to be here.
Oh, God, I better turn you down.
That's him.
Begin. Let's try that again. Honor to be here. Thank you so much.
Kanter, you're a straight male.
I am.
And we usually don't have a lot of those. Usually the only ones that come on are Jared. So you're welcome.
Yeah, so what are you doing?
I don't know.
Yeah, we got overload.
No, you'll see. I haven't told Kanter what the episode's about yet.
No
so
idea.
we're going to surprise him in a little bit about the topic. So thanks for being here. What have you been up to since leaving BuzzFeed?
I mean, you just gave me a great massage.
Wait, that sounds
Oh my God.
weird.
Yeah.
A
Let me
very
recap.
platonic chronic pain massage.
Yeah, which I didn't ask for, but I'm happy you
He
gave.
did not consent to my massaging.
No, but there was some CBD involved.
Oh, yeah.
There was some cupping involved.
And that's all you've been doing since you left BuzzFeed.
Pretty much. Yeah.
No, you've been editing your balls off because you're making films and stuff.
Trying to develop feature films and got a couple of short films that are coming up.
One
and
we're
coming
working
out.
on.
Yes. Yeah. Well, 2 actually.
Yeah, 2 we're working on.
Yeah.
One's about coming and one's about gay stuff,
Yeah.
to put it lightly.
I was like, how is hers about coming? But
No, it's the
probably
other
is.
one.
Yeah.
You're also single.
Damn.
I didn't realize that until yeah.
This very moment.
I'm single. Yeah.
Yeah, because most
It's,
people on BuzzFeed remember you from being in a relation.
Oh, is that how you were known?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because it was like right at the peak of when BuzzFeed videos were like, it was like couples videos performed the best, like
So they used
every
you.
single time. Yeah, and so we, they would bring us in, and it just became like
Your identity.
more than well, no, but to other people it was like absolutely. People still recognize
Like
both of us.
they
probably.
shipped
Wow.
Oh yeah, I
Big
mean we were
time.
already
In a relationship.
Yeah, but they were still shipping us.
you. Yeah, and even post breakup they would ship you.
Yeah. Or
Take
curse
sides.
me.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I'm
it's
glad you're here.
Thank you.
And finally, we have all of you know my boyfriend, DJ KapSLap La DJ Lucas. Thanks for coming back. And just to establish, you identify as a straight male who is in an open relationship with a
Queer female.
Thank you. Okay, so now that we've got all that out of the fucking way, let's just get this out of the way. We have to talk about coronavirus. I mean, by the time this comes out, it's going to be Monday, and fucking who knows what's going to happen by then. Mm-hmm. We've done an episode about it. Everything has changed since then. We talked a little bit about it last week, but it's fucking crazy what's happening right now. And I feel like LA is is going even crazier because everyone's panic buying. And then I called my mom in Tampa, Florida, and she's like, no, everything's kind of just going
My
normal.
mom in Missouri couldn't be more chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it feels like an apocalyptic Contagion movie here in LA.
Not to mention it's also raining. Like it's been
Yeah,
nonstop
yeah.
rain in
Yep.
LA, which already is like
We
jokingly
freak
referred
out.
to as an apocalypse.
Yeah.
It's not a good time.
Well, we're not technically quarantined as of today, but Spain is about to go on a full country quarantine like Italy, and everyone's really angry that we're not doing that, and Trump didn't even suggest social distancing.
It's wild.
Although he just got tested.
Well,
So-
here's my theory, and I actually think this came from a friend on Twitter, Matt Real. He said Trump definitely has it, because if he didn't, he would be bragging about it. But the fact that he's like, oh, I'm going to figure it out. We're getting tested.
The fact that he hasn't been tested yet, I don't think.
He just got tested today.
I know, but don't you test the president for something like that first? And constantly, like every day, you test the president of the United States of America for this virus?
He is trying not to make... He doesn't want to get... he didn't want to get tested because he didn't want people to think he cared. He wants it to still be so lax and like, it isn't a big deal, because I think this is going to end his presidency. I think this is going to get so bad and people are going to lose so much money and his followers are going to... Like, I don't know if they're going to stick through this with him. Kanter, you look like you fully disagree with me.
No, it seems like that, but the election's a long time from now, and a lot of things can change. And if there's any person that has been able to historically take things that we think are going to end his run, it's this motherfucker. So I don't know. I don't know.
Because if it is handled in the next month,
then he'll
get
all the praise.
Yeah.
No matter what, he's not going to take responsibility.
I just don't know how this isn't like a springboard for Bernie Sanders. I don't understand how it's not. You know what I mean? Like,
I haven't heard anything from him really.
I mean, I follow him on Twitter, so I hear every step of the way.
That's why I set out this can of Lysol, because I wanted to go through and ask you guys what have been your I wouldn't say we've been panic buying. I think we've been like responsibly restocking. Like, I didn't go crazy for toilet paper. I didn't like gouge anything. The only thing I did kind of go like 2 or 3 more cartons overboard on than we normally do is oat milk, because we drink so much coffee.
Oat milk is essential.
Yeah. So Zach, what have you panic bought?
Every time I go to the store, I buy like 4 items that I don't really need and that won't help me out at the end of the day. Most recently today, I bought an onion.
An onion is such a funny thing to say. An onion.
Some bacon.
Yeah. Okay.
A yogurt-based guacamole.
Wow.
And I honestly forgot the 4th item. I promise it's not useful either. I'm not prepared for this in any way, so I've kind of just been like shopping for myself. But like every time I leave the house, I'm okay. On my dining room table right now is my panic kit, and it's like 2 boxes of cereal, 2 boxes of granola bars, 6 packets of tuna.
Oh, I got tuna
nice.
too.
Yeah. Which actually was like, this is good. This is a good one.
Yeah.
And then mayo. For the
mayo's
tuna.
gonna go bad once you open it.
Sure. I've never let a jar of mayo go bad in my life.
Ew.
I love mayo.
Okay.
And that's like it.
Kanter? We're such millennials. We have no idea. Yeah.
I mean,
did you do a?
I went yesterday. Yeah? I feel like I was too late though, because it was just complete pandemonium. Went to Ralph's. It was like people. It was I Am Legend. It was just like people.
Tell them how long you waited in line.
I at a certain point I like blacked out, and I think it was over an hour.
To check out at a grocery store.
That's insane.
Yeah. And then it's like, you don't know how long it's going to take. So you wait there and you're like, well, it can't possibly get worse. And then it just takes forever. And then I felt, but then there was like some communal feeling to it. Like, I think people weren't like screaming at each other. Like, there was at least some civil,
camaraderie
going
community.
On. And this woman in front of me, she like had like 3 bags. I was like, oh, you can put your stuff in my cart. We'll like, until we get up there. And she was like, thank you so much. I'm like, of course.
Also, wait, you can't sidestep the question, what did you fucking buy?
Oh, yeah. So
And you waited longer than I did for it, so my onion's about to sound smart as fuck.
Well, I got onions.
Yeah, onion? Damn.
I got more than 1 onion.
There were 2 left. My friend got the other one. Okay.
I got water. I got tuna. I got soup. But really what I fucking got, and for some reason they were in stock, I'm a Beyond Meat bitch.
Oh, wow.
You guys up on Beyond Meat?
Hell yeah. We love Beyond Meat.
Big into it.
You go that ground beef.
Yeah, because you can put it in anything.
Versatile.
Yes, and hard to find.
Now,
and
what
let me
about
tell you,
Impossible compared to Beyond?
Impossible, it's got soy in it, so...
Do they sell Impossible at grocery stores?
I don't know.
I think at Target they do.
Okay.
Yeah. But I saw that and I was like, well, I already eat this thing. Like, I'm preparing for a war, so I'm just going to get 2 more. Put them in the freezer.
Yeah.
That's the thing is I feel like as young people, we aren't going to be buying the plastic water bottles because we know it's bad for the environment. Right. We're not assholes, so we're not like stockpiling shit the way that I'm watching like in some fucking states. Yeah, like people are buying like thousands of rolls of toilet paper and then upselling them on eBay and Amazon, and people are shutting down their accounts. Like, I feel like we're actually doing this pretty responsibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's people our age that are not too responsible, but yeah, I mean, for sure. The toilet paper thing, I know it's been talked, everyone talks about it and says this as a joke, but like, what is the idea behind it?
I don't get it.
Is it that you just think that, well...
It's such a basic necessity, and the idea of not having it is scaring people.
You can wipe your ass literally with your hand and then wash your hand. Like, I would rather have more tuna. Oh, by the way, I wrote this down as a note. Remember that podcast, like 6 podcasts ago, when we talked about moving in with your partner and your number one pet peeve about me was that I never wash my hands? Yeah. I have been getting DMs. I have been getting DMs on DMs.
Doesn't wash her hands?
Yes, like adamantly getting DMs about people asking me if I've changed my ways. My answer is, not only have I changed them, my OCD, which I do have, has kicked in like hard, and I'm over washing my hands now. I have hand sanitizer everywhere. Yeah, you're welcome.
Just for all the confidants out there, thank you.
Yeah, that was the confidant.
You are, though, in like the majority of people who have been like, whoa, we have to start washing our hands. Like,
I was like, what else should I be washing? Yeah. You guys wash your pussy? What? Also, things are getting canceled like crazy. Hollywood is projected to lose $20 billion over the coronavirus.
There's no movie release dates now.
They push Mulan, Furious. They push A Quiet Place 2, Furious. AMC and ArcLight have both said that they're only selling half the amount of theater tickets so that people can sit one row away from each other. They're like, that's going to fucking do anything.
I wonder how Netflix is going to do. Just crushing it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Quibi should balls up, and release their shit now.
Yeah, that was a little insider baseball talk, but Quibi's going to be a new online platform like Netflix, but it's going to be strictly on your phone.
Basically,
yeah. That's a whole other conversation that we can talk about, but we won't. So things are getting canceled left and right. Jared, you had like 6 shows, 6 DJ shows canceled.
More than that.
Yeah?
I mean, all these, literally the entire spring tour is officially postponed.
And that's like your income.
Date. Yeah.
How are you feeling?
Not great. Yeah. I think I'm going to have to make some serious kind of changes into what I'm doing and find a way to get some income, get some side hustles
Selling
going.
that dick on the street corner.
Yeah, might have to.
Kanter and Zach, you are also both in the freelance life a little bit. Are you guys freaking out at all about income?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I mean, every industry is affected, of course. It's economically, maybe arguably, is like the largest impact that's actually going to be felt.
Yeah, like for a long time.
Yeah, and freelance. I mean, we work in entertainment. I mean, this is not necessarily a necessity compared to education and healthcare, and so. But that being said, it's like those things are being canceled. Yeah. So it's
shoots are being canceled left and right. I mean, our short we should shoot right now.
Yeah,
if
we
anything,
should absolutely,
because people will be desperate for work.
It's a great point.
Yeah. Are you freaking out?
Yeah.
You had a bunch of shows canceled too.
Yeah. I was on tour with someone, and
she's a famous
comedian. Yeah, and they added 2 dates to the tour on Monday, and then they canceled all the dates on like Wednesday.
Yeah, because of the 250 person gathering rule.
Yeah, and she pulls in a lot of people. Yeah, it's crazy. It's nice though that we're all affected because it feels like group trauma. Like everyone kind of understands. Like so, I'm not. I should be freaked out. There's a world in which I absolutely run out of money by the end of this, but like I'm not thinking about it. Yeah. Today I have money. Yeah. Today I have,
live in the moment.
An onion.
An onion.
It's important.
This episode is going to be called Zach's and Onion.
Zach's and Onion.
So, long story short, we could talk about Corona forever, but we won't because we want to get to the theme of this podcast. I know you're looking at the title.
So connected.
Like, ooh. Well, here's the thing. I wanted to mention one housekeeping item. We sold out of 50 of the Confidently Insecure stickers last night. I was up all morning sending out 50 stickers all around the country to New Zealand, Canada, the UK, Hong Kong.
Guys, she loves you.
I do. I love
really
my confidants. Are you kidding?
You're mailing a sticker?
She got a packet of these stickers
right
in
here,
the mail.
These, the Confidently Insecure stickers.
They were just shipped to her.
I posted about them last night.
Yeah. And then she's sitting here in the morning by herself writing handwritten on the envelopes and putting each sticker in and putting it and sending them out.
How much are they for sale for?
Well, here's the thing: is I put out on my I put out on my Instagram. Just Venmo me whatever you think it's worth. I know some people can only do like 50 cents to $1, and I can't even believe you're willing to give me that. That's so kind. And some people sent me 20. And I'm
awesome.
like, but then some people sent me 20 because they knew I'd be shipping it.
Yeah, to New Zealand.
Yeah, so considerate.
Then you lose money
My
still.
confidants are the best. No one's a dick. No one's judgmental. Even when people have to criticize and give advice. See, I think someone just sent me a Venmo. See?
Wow.
I thought that you were on airplane mode.
I am. It still sends my notifications. I don't know why.
That seems actually impossible.
Even when people
Wi-Fi.
does.
Wi-Fi, you're right.
Look into that.
Yeah.
Even when people do have criticism to give, which don't get me wrong, I read them all and I get very sad for like 3 seconds, but then I remember like how kind you guys have all been when you do give advice, even especially with the politics podcast that we did 2 weeks ago. So many of you DM'd me about how you wished I had talked about Warren more. And I was like, I knew she was going to be gone soon, so I didn't. But even like the sex episode last week and the virginity episode, some of you DM'd me being like, hey, loved it. And you also didn't talk about how like some people do want to wait till marriage and that's a good thing. And I was like, oh yeah, well,
Is it?
it's just not my experience.
Is
but
it?
I try to cover all topics, which is exactly why I brought you three here today, because I wanted a very diverse range of conversation around this week's theme, which is anal sex.
Boom!
I also love
boom
the
goes
diverse
dynamite.
50% of the panel is a straight man.
One is in a relationship.
Okay.
An open relationship, and one
One's
is single.
addicted to anal sex.
So of course, Kanter, I'm sorry I sprung this on you. Feel free to share as much or as little about your personal life as you want. But have you done anal sex? Just kidding. I'm kidding.
Hot seat right out the gate.
Are you mad I surprised you?
I mean, no. I knew it would be something that would.
You know me too well. Poor Kanter got the fucked up microphone, and we keep switching it back and
You
forth.
drop this anal surprise on me, and then you give me the fucked up mic.
I know. Well, technically, it's Jared's fault. He set up the microphones. I take no
My bad.
responsibility like Trump. It's falling again.
I know.
Is
We
it?
have to
Fine.
tighten
I'll-
this top part.
This is good.
Okay, sorry, confidants, that we didn't prepare. Again, like I wanted to bring us all here to talk about it, and we'll kind of dive into different sections. We're going to talk about gay anal sex, women's anal sex, straight male anal sex. But first, I wanted to start with a brief history of anal sex, if you will.
my God.
Feel free to comment and talk as we go.
This is exciting.
Don't look. Stop looking at my thing.
Girl.
He's
You're
excited.
looking.
I don't do any additional reading if I don't have to.
Okay, fair. I forgot you could read. Dating back to the ancient Greek times, anal sex played a role in the expression of same-sex sexuality, albeit with fewer varieties of lube. Between 100 AD and 800 AD in northern Peru, the Moche culture production of pottery exploded, and archaeologists unearthed a fuck ton of male-to-male anal sex depictions. Researchers have studied and concluded it was also used as a method of birth control for people that didn't want children. In this article that was really, really interesting, written by JOE DUNCANN on Moments of Passion, I'm going to link this below because it's really fascinating. He says, a Polish anthropologist by the name of Bronislaw Menelowski explored many cultures which have been encapsulated in time through their remoteness and lack of content with other cultures. One of the cultures he wrote about, the Trobriand Islanders, who lived near New Guinea on a very remote island, had no clue how babies came to be. And it's likely that many older cultures were much the same. These people believed, quite simply, that a ghost, yes, an actual ghost, came and impregnated women. And thus the responsibilities of adulthood didn't belong to the father, but the community, as
And the
they had
ghost.
no conception of fatherhood. Imagine having no conception of fatherhood at all, and an entire civilization of people running around having whatever kind of sex they wanted with whomever they wanted. The tribe communalized the responsibility of raising children while everyone else played. Human history was likely much more radical than you think.
That's pretty sweet.
They just fucked whatever, and they
Sounds
were
like
like,
a-
oh, this one got pregnant. She was ghosts.
They never picked up on a trend.
I guess not. But that's how much sex they were having with each other.
Sure.
It wasn't like male to female. And again, sorry that we're going to be using kind of like generalized male to female talk in this. I am reading a lot from like National Health Institute and stuff, and their language is a little old, but in this case, we're talking male to female sex. Everyone was having sex. So they were
That's
having
crazy.
so much different sex than traditional penis to vagina penetration that they couldn't find a pattern.
Wow.
And then you'd be like, wow, how is that possible? How can they find a pattern? Because we know it that Christianity ruined anal sex's reputation.
Damn.
So in Leviticus 20:13, it says, if a man has sexual relations with a man as one does with a woman, both of them have done what is detestable. They are to be put to death and their blood will be on their own heads.
Damn.
Sodomy is anal sex. It comes from the Sodom and Gomorrah where God destroyed the city because of the homosexuality that was going on there.
That wait. It was just because of homosexual behavior. I just had a stroke on camera.
They were like, this is gay city, so like West Hollywood. And they were like off of their heads.
I thought it was just like a city full of sinners
who were doing butt stuff.
Okay, cool.
The anus was not designed for sex, neither is it safe to practice. Even though the Bible doesn't discuss anal sex between a married couple, why not? Do we make this rule? From what the Bible does tell us, you can see that God intended for the penis to go inside the vagina, not the anus. Genesis 19:5-7 says, they called to the Lot, where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out so that we can have sex with them. The Lot went outside to me and shut the door behind him. And Jesus said, no, my friends, don't do this wicked thing.
Whoa.
Wow.
So even though the Bible doesn't really say that married couples shouldn't have anal, they're just assuming that Christians preached forever and ever that it was supposed to be penis and vagina because it was written in the Bible.
This is the thing that pisses me off, though. There's so many other things in the Bible. It's the whole, like, if a woman's on her period, like, cast her out of the house. Or, like, if she sits on a piece of furniture, burn the furniture.
Mixed fabric, too, you can't even have.
Sure.
You're not allowed to have shrimp.
Don't touch the skin of a dead
Lobsters.
pig, which
Sorry.
is a football. Like, there's a bunch of things that we just, like,
Damn.
kind of, like, dance around, but they really highlight the gay sex one.
Yeah, I think that it is interesting when I was doing this research that before religion came into play, butt stuff was happening with more straight men than ever, or
Sure,
more
and
like fluid men than
the
ever.
Grecian warrior thing was like they often would like pair up and fight for one another's honor and like fuck each other.
Ooh, and it's also like
Don't Google that, but I think that's that in my mind. That's what happened.
that's fucking hot. 300 a different
See
way.
that? Like a dominance thing? I can totally see
I
that.
would love to
like
see
a-
Brokeback Mountain on like 300.
Oh
like
my
a gay
God,
love
the
story
men of 300?
of Sparta.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's kind of surprising that's not been done.
it's probably being done right
it's
now.
Kind of, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is the little brief history of anal sex. Before we talk about it, I wanted to again mention that we are coming from the perspective of a gay male, queer woman, straight man who is single, straight man who is in a relationship with open relationship with a bisexual woman. So how does everyone feel about anal sex? Don't say it all at once. Zach, of course you'd be the first to chime in.
I'm pro.
Yeah.
In general, yeah. If I had more holes, I'd probably try those out too. It's actually not. It's not the most important thing to me in my sex life by any stretch of the imagination.
Stretch.
Hey,
You heard me. You heard me.
Nice.
I'm glad you bring that up.
What? Stretching?
I'll skip a little bit to talk about gay anal sex. But 1/3, this was done in 2016. National Institute of Health surveyed a bunch of dudes who identified as gay men and said 1/3 say that it's not part of their regular sexual relationship.
It just takes so much prep. Like if you're receiving anal sex, it's like, man, it's like down to the diet. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like you're constantly thinking like, oh, like how is this going to affect me? You know, in 8 to 12 hours. You know,
Wow.
Truly, like
Yeah.
there's literally
lot of
fiber
planning.
supplements for gay men to make you like your system like flush out
Shit,
better.
your
People
brains out?
take enemas, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's
I
like,
mean,
yeah.
douching, anal douching
cleaning
your
out.
thing?
Oh my God,
It's
it's
a
a
lot
huge
of
thing.
work.
Yeah.
And there's the whole thing in the gay community about like shame around not being pristine, and it's
like cleaned out.
yeah, like or like a speck of like poo somewhere, and it's like a shameful moment, and it's
Yeah.
like oh
That's
like
crazy.
dirty bottom, oh like, and some people are really understanding about it, and some people aren't. But you
Yeah.
factor all these things in, and then you're like, fuck, this
I'd
is
rather
like.
just suck a dick and get it over with.
Dude, you're telling me.
I
and
mean-
sucking dick is fun.
Yeah. As a woman, I will say, researching too, I noticed a lot of patterns of women talking about how they are more opposed to it than pro, just because it hurts more for women.
It's more for women?
Well, men have the prostate gland that
Exactly.
swells when they're near orgasm, and the dick hits that thing over and over. So, when anal I should have said this. Like, when anal sex is good, like, I can come without touching myself. You know what I mean? Like, from getting fucked. But,
I mean,
I wish,
women...
I wish I could, like, be more, like... I wish my butt was looser. Like, I kind of wish I could, like, fuck around with that. Because that seems, like, awesome. That, like, to have, like, a prostate orgasm.
Well, Jared, we've got a surprise.
We've got great news for you. No, there's, like, literally kits that start very small with, like, butt plugs. Like, like a one that you could manageably take and just, like, have in you for a bit. And then you move up in, like, size.
I'm so glad you brought that up, Zach, because I wanted to share a small story before I ask Kanter, how do you feel about anal?
Honestly, it's not really ever been something that has come up as a thing. I'm not really, I mean, I've never really had like a desire to.
You've never stuck it in a butt?
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, never said that.
There have been, attempts at it, but I think like echoing kind of what you said is like, with my experience with women, is like most women seem to not be into it. Yeah. And, it's not anywhere near something that I would, like, it's not really any different for us. You're putting it in. Well, some would argue.
Is it like the idea? Sorry.
Yeah, no.
I think, I don't know. I think for a lot of dudes, it does seem to be the idea. And for me, the idea is kind of just like,
I like how it's like the final frontier.
Sure.
It's like the one thing that territory. You can like,
Yeah. So I wrote that down that we'll kind of skip around with these facts, but under why does it feel so good for dudes? It's for doing it to women, it's that men consider it the forbidden fruit because it's something that they can't get pregnant in the ass. So number one, there's like kind of this dirty taboo, like I can fucking come in it and do whatever I want to it. There's also the consent that turns men on because most women don't want to do it there. So it's kind of like a trust thing.
Right.
I cannot believe you're texting in the middle of this podcast.
I mean, it's so the part I can't really comment on.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I mean, I can. I'll throw my opinion out there.
Oh my God. Okay.
I'm sorry. I was on Grindr, if that makes you feel any better.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Looking for some anal sex.
As soon as I said about women and anal sex, you checked out. You fully went on your phone.
No, I know. Forbidden zone. Yeah.
So yeah, it's supposed to be like a forbidden fruit, and that it's the power dynamic that most women statistically don't want that as something part of their life. So when it is exactly like what you're saying, Jared, it's kind of like you're given the pass into the gates that are, the sacred land. For women, it is just, this is what I kept trying to say when I kept going. For women, men have said that it feels like a small door to a large room. Versus with men, because there's a prostate gland in there, it's like you kind of have a job to get done. Sure. Like you're like, I want to make this person come because I know it feels good for men. Whereas for women, it's like, it's just your butthole's tight. There's nothing really more in there. Apparently, once you get it, I don't know. I've never had a penis, and I've never been able to stick it in a woman's butt. I've done a dildo in a girl's butt, but that's a different story. Is that true? Does it feel like an wide open room in there?
It definitely feels different. I think the tightness of like once it's in there, it's definitely
you can explore a little
different feeling. Yeah, you kind of explore a little bit. Yeah.
And Jared, maybe I shouldn't out you with these conversations, but we've talked a lot about it.
Yeah,
and it's just, I don't think it's something that like either of us are super duper into. Like it's not something that excites us really, and that you've talked about. Sometimes you've done it with girls that they just couldn't care less. They're like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. I've had some experiences, some fun times.
Do any girls
my single
really
times.
love it? Like, like specifically fuck me in the ass?
I've had a couple girls that really liked it. And I don't know why, if they don't have the prostate going on.
I think it's mental. It's like 75% mental for women.
Totally.
I would assume.
Or the pain too, right?
Exactly.
I mean,
is there really good thing is there a freedom factor about not getting pregnant? Like I can enjoy this more because there's no baby?
Absolutely. There's also there's enormous variability in the sexual repertoire of U.S. adults with more than 40 combinations of sexual activity described at adults' most recent sexual event. So the fact that like there's like butt fingering, butt bumping, penetration, toy play, like there's 40 different combinations that people have given the National Institute of Health about what anal sex is to them.
Wow.
Wow.
Right?
40. That's so many.
I thought you meant 40 total, which actually still sounded like a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
In 2015, the National Institute of Health, again, they use men and women pronouns in this article, when they asked a lifetime, if any men had had anal sex in their lifetime, it was reported that 43% of men and 37% of women had it in their lifetime, which seems incredibly low. And again, this is in 2015, so 5 years ago. And that the peak age for anal sex in 2016 was 30 to 34 years old.
Wow.
That's when anal stuff happens most likely?
The peak of it.
30 to 34?
Is that just like when you're getting bored in a relationship?
Yeah,
Kind of like mix it up.
Or I think it's that you trust yourself more. Like you're more explorative and open because you've kind of like done it all.
I love that it ends at 34 though. Like, yeah, it's not. It's a phase.
Well, I'm glad you said that because then there's this weird like lull, right? Which you would assume would be like adulthood, having children,
yes.
work.
Please tell me it's like
it
elderly.
spikes back up at the age of 70.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
No.
Yes.
Like bucket lists come
retirement
out.
home.
Yes.
Isn't
Yes.
that all that happens in elderly
Communities
homes?
of
Is they
sex.
fuck, and
A lot of chlamydia out
I mean,
there.
it could just be accidental at that age. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe that like I know for women, like it really is a true thing that your muscles become weakened and it doesn't feel as great. And maybe you're like, hey, I never used this thing, dust it off and put it in there. Take it off the shelf, give it a go. Let's see what happens.
Damn.
Life ain't over. I'm in my third act, which is arguably the best climax. Get it?
Oh,
Film joke.
nice. Good one.
Okay. So, the one story I was going to tell about my opinion on it. I'm so sorry, Cantor, that you got
okay.
You
It's
can
okay.
just
Want me to
hold
get a
it
coin?
if
Just
you
like, don't
want.
mind.
No, it's
Should I?
okay. At this point, it's become a bit in it that Cantor's microphone sucks.
I'm just gonna keep it like this.
There you go. I have never been like a huge fan. There was a point where I really enjoyed a finger because it just felt like a little cherry on top, like a little addition. Then there was one relationship where I kind of became dependent on it because the other aspect of it wasn't really that
Small
happening.
Wow.
But for Valentine's Day, I really wanted to give him anal. That was the present, was that he was going to get anal because that was all I had to give.
Did you make like a card?
Well, I used...
You put a do
This.
not enter on your vagina.
This is butt beads. Okay, real quick before we keep going, you are about to hear phone audio for the next 10 minutes because unfortunately the audio card filled up and stopped recording. But we were all having such fun and good conversation about butt stuff that we figured we'd just keep the next 10 minutes in and we'll pick right back up where I fucked up.
You didn't fuck up. It happens.
Used this, which is a tiny little butt bead string where there's like a handle to pull it out, and then there's one tiny ball at the end, a medium-sized ball in the middle, and one large ball at the top. So it's like you can graduate to the larger ball. And I spent the entire day cleaning the house and getting ready for Valentine's Day, and I walked around the house naked with this in my ass.
Nice.
So I would like do the dishes with this hanging out of my butthole. I would like clean the cat litter bent over with this coming out of my butthole.
All the way in?
All the way in.
Wow.
And then at night he came over for Valentine's Day and he refused to do anal sex with me because he said he had never done anal sex with women without there being tears and poopy dick involved.
Wow.
So he had such a bad experience
Rough.
with it that he did not want to even implore
Wow.
the idea of this. And I was like, do you know
How
what
many
I've done
times?
for you all day? Do you know what I've been through all day with this in my fucking asshole? Breathing exercises,
A toy.
calming myself?
Wow.
How many times did he do it?
I don't know.
That's a lot.
But I guess one bad experience will...
And did he specify with women?
Yeah.
Like you just did?
What do you mean?
I've never had anal sex with women. That
Yeah.
didn't end in.
Oh, I don't know
Yeah.
if he had it. I would assume not because he was pretty straight.
Sure.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about why does it feel so good for men, right? Like we talked about the prostate being there. We have had evidence that some women do report having earth-shattering orgasms from anal sex, but presumably the best orgasms would come from when all the nerves can be stimulously excited, which happens to be a greater chance in men because of the prostate. There's also analingus, which, believe it or not, analingus, the oral anal act of touching the anus with the tongue, is not only more popular than actual anal sex, with a 2018 study showing 18% of men reported they'd performed an act of actual anal sex, while 15% had received analingus, and a full 24% had performed analingus.
The guys are eating girls' butts.
Yeah.
Huh.
Or they like to get
Guys
their
are
butt
still,
eaten.
I don't know how, I'm going to be interested to hear you guys. Guys are so nervous around their buttholes.
Because it's the gayest thing.
I hate that that's the thing.
No, I'm
Especially because, like,
saying.
I have a bit of my thing. I was like, you have a clit in your butt. I say that to a straight guy at some point, but it's like, it's so true. It's like, there's so many nerve endings outside, and then like inside it just gets even more intense.
Mm-hmm.
Like the most intense orgasm I've ever had is while getting fucked. You know,
Yeah.
it's like a blackout orgasm.
And I say that it's the gayest thing because historically that's what it was used for, was to show same-sex relationship. So to say it's like the gayest thing is really unfortunate because it doesn't include in that historical point of view that it could be women doing anything to men. It was usually like soldiers doing it to soldiers, and it was like this.
If it was anal, then after the church, it was like, we're going to associate this
with homosexuality. Yeah.
That's rough. I feel like I have like a Ferrari, and I'm going in like second gear, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm wasting all of this
Honestly,
prostate going on. Like,
you're fuck.
And you're pretty liberal.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish I actually, so we can talk about this on the podcast here. I got a thing to try and see if I can, a sex toy that it's not that big, but it goes in your butt, and it like touches the gooch as well.
What's the gooch?
Between the balls
and the to try to get the prostate thing. And I was like, I'm gonna get like a prostate orgasm. I'm gonna do this. Like, and I went and I jerked off on my own. I just couldn't like get comfortable enough.
Yeah.
It's how big was this thing?
It wasn't that big. It was like,
like a French fry.
It's like a
French
size.
fry.
A little bigger than a thumb.
Yeah.
But
Interesting.
I just couldn't I couldn't relax enough.
Totally. I get it.
To get it in there.
Yeah.
You went to the sex shop and got this, or you ordered
I think we ordered it online because we were reading what is the best like tool genuinely for straight men to introduce the world of anal.
I just couldn't get comfortable with it.
Yeah, I get it.
It wasn't.
There's even for me, there's still this aspect of like, oh, this is like a foreign thing. Like, I hate to use the word unnatural. Like, some part of it feels very unnatural. You know, it's like, oh, like this is my butthole. Like, this is where poop comes out. You know, like that's what I'm thinking. But like the feeling, once I can get past that, like the feeling is like insanely good. Yeah.
Kanter, how do you feel about it?
I mean, I'm probably the most sort of vanilla, sort of like average sort of straight guy. Cause like, and I'm aware of like straight dudes talking about how it's like, yeah, this is like a great thing and butt play is good. But like, it wasn't until my later 20s that like I was even with women that were like necessarily into it. And it's still for me like a thing that I just have to unlearn sort of this. I don't even like, I mean, outside of wiping my ass, it's like, this thing doesn't, I'm just not,
you're not even friends with it.
Yeah, I don't know that thing. I don't know. I'll tell you something right now. I wouldn't be able to pick out my asshole in a lineup. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
so funny. You need the mirror. You need to see the mirror thing.
One time I had like I was in a hotel and they had like a mirror behind the mirror and I like saw my asshole. I was like, Jesus, what is that? What? Okay. I mean, I didn't know. I mean, I guess I just have to live my life
pick
now.
your asshole up out of a lineup and just a bunch of dudes bent over in like a fucking white wall with white lines behind it. Which one was it?
And then you finger them.
Kanter definitely wouldn't. He'd be like, I don't know what it feels like.
Wait, have you guys had your ass eaten?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Jared's eyes lit up like
you don't light up for me.
Well, no, when I'm fully like I have to be like straight after like a shower and like
feeling
fully
confident,
cleaned and
feeling
like trimmed up and be like okay about it
and like
go
horny in a specific way.
I was gonna ask,
I think
is
like,
the barrier you can't get past the like also cleanliness
it's
about
the
it?
cleanliness because I think you tried to surprise me one time with
and you're like, oh no,
don't beware of entry.
But there's like a lot of sensation down there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'll say this. I mean, I think it's no surprise that intoxication, I'll just say for me, historically, has led to more adventurous and sort of just kind of like
animalistic.
Oh, like Molly alcohol stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
I will say the one time I did it successfully where someone came, it wasn't necessarily me. I don't think it ever came from penetration in the ass. Was when I was in high school and we got blacked out drunk. And I just remember when it happened, I didn't even care about the actual orgasm. We were both just like, we did it! It happened! And then like I waited another 10 years before I let someone put it back in again because I just remember being like, nothing happened. The slot machine didn't light up.
Yeah.
The idea of you saying, how could you tell that he lit up is so funny to me because the idea of just my face smashed into Jim's butt cheeks. Like I can't see your face the way you can with a blowjob where I'm just looking at you from underneath your butt. So like, let's say you guys are in a situation where, like, again, Kanter, you're single, so you're just out there, you're playing the field, you're just like slamming left and right, meat party, crazy, just like shepherd's pie pussy.
Sure.
Damn.
How do you ever approach the conversation at all, or is it because you're in the dating stage of like casual dating that you don't date women that even bring it really up?
Oh, easy answer. I'm never. I mean,
You're
especially
never
in dating, particularly early on. I'm not gonna like. For me, it's nowhere near important
Because you don't care. It's like if she said no anal ever, you'd be like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Unless she brought up as like, I want to do this. I'm not gonna be like, hey, I know this is the first time we're hooking up, but let's
see what
go
happens.
to 10. Yeah, I mean, it's not important enough for me. And I don't know. I just feel like, again, what I've experienced is like most women just do not seem to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it just, unless you're into the pain angle, which a lot of people are, and that's a big part of sex for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, then I could understand that. So but I'm definitely not trying to like assume anything here.
And I would think that with like casual dating, there probably is a little bit more drinking and a little bit more like I may never see you again, so like let's just get wild and crazy versus like let's just kind of missionary and we're kind of tired and like I feel like with us it's like we try to purposely keep it a little bit more adventurous because we know how you can kind of get into a rut of just like, okay, my favorite position, you do this, and then we go to sleep.
See, the way that's really interesting to hear because like for me, it almost seems like it's harder for people to have like the stamina.
And now we're back to regular audio. Kanter, you were just talking about stamina and butt sex and first dates and how you were talking about, and we're back on our microphones. And we fixed your microphone. Yay, the bit's over.
Yay. You guys had mentioned, you were talking about like, oh, that's because for first dates, you kind of want to be more adventurous and sexually promiscuous. But for me, it's always more of like, no, I need to go with like what I know works, but just do that really, really, really well. You know what I mean?
Really funny.
And like, I feel like that, in my experience, that seems to be the better choice.
You don't want to.
Why am I
want to
fucking
take a
around
chance.
Yeah. What am I? Oh, yeah.
Tried and true, baby.
Yeah. You're gonna give suddenly you're gonna give a TED talk. Hey, let me give a TED talk on the thing I know least about. No, I'm gonna go in with the fucking heavy hitters,
The
with
moves. The classics.
Yeah.
The Kanter classics.
That's what I call it.
What's a Kanter classic?
I mean, what?
6 minutes of missionary in a Scorsese film on your computer.
Oh my god.
No, I mean,
Zach's like, I'm hard.
I'm getting excited here. No, you know what I mean, though. I think to me, it's more about like, yeah, that if you're gonna do anything differently on a first date, it's better to just like perform exceptionally well, and be attentive.
I feel that,
and sort of be. That's like kind of my style. Is like, oh, I'm gonna deliver the thing that they want.
Yeah.
Right. So
so you're like a people pleaser.
You
for sure.
Oh no, you're not having sex for you.
Yeah, but I mean, like it's like
but
a Midwestern
that
thing.
Gives them,
like,
but it gives you pleasure too.
Yeah, totally. So again, that's why I come back to like with people in the past being like, oh, I don't like this at all. Definitely not. I'm like, all right, well, I guess this is just how people.
Red tape.
And that's just probably just the batch of experience I've had.
Yeah. And I'll also say that, like, talking about, like, firsts and trying things, I know a lot of times, I even think probably my butt virginity was taken by accident because some dudes, when they're, like, not every girl's pussy is in the same position and location at the same angle, that there's been a lot of times, you've even done that shit where I've been like, that's my asshole.
Yeah.
And it's not like, you know, and to be very clear, I have to say, like, butt sex, you need consent. You can't just do it. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, should we move on to gay anal sex?
Sure.
Okay, so
move on, move in.
Heyo.
Pound it. So gay men statistically are more likely to be tops, which, Zachary, would you like to go ahead and spill the beans on tops?
What does that
and
even mean? Gay men are more likely to be tops
than bottoms.
That doesn't make any sense.
They're more likely to be.
Wait, you're saying there are more tops out there than bottoms? I don't know if that's true. Maybe that's true. That's not true in Los Angeles, California.
It was a National Institute of Health survey.
What's the? Do you have the numbers?
In 2016.
What's the percentage?
Well, here's I don't know if this is what you're asking for, but I'm going to give you some stats. New research by Bespoke Surgical interviewed 300 gay men. This is a different thing.
Cool.
300 gay men of different ages about their sex life, and it found 13% have anal sex daily.
Oh my God.
39% of gay men have it a couple times a week. 24% of gay men had it a couple times a month. Mm-hmm. And 5 in 6 gay men have it at least a few times a year.
Wait, 5 and 6
gay men? No, like 5 out of 6.
Oh. Okay,
and then
sorry.
1 in 6 has it less than once a year. So again, statistically out of this research, that means that around 16% likely had never even had anal sex.
Huh. But then the top and bottom thing? Do you know
the
where that
top
came
and bottom
from?
thing? I'll look it up again.
It's just it makes sense, I guess, because it's anyone can top. Like you don't
explain
have to be.
In case someone doesn't know.
Top is the person who puts the dick in. Bottom is the person who gets the dick put in.
People say like pitcher catcher, and then like a verse
pitcher
person is
catcher
someone
actually
that can do
confuses
both.
me for some reason.
Oh,
pitcher is the top.
Yeah.
Catcher is the bottom. Yeah.
Taking
it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So all you need to top is really like a boner and a good attitude. You know what I mean? Like so like anyone can like. And like I'm God made me a bottom for sure, but I've topped in situations where I'm like horny but like did not feel like ready or like wanting this specific guy to put his dick in me. I'm like, I'll fuck you.
So how casual is giving your butthole up in the gay world?
Pretty cash. I
like
mean,
it's not as
if you want it, you can
as...
find it. If I got on Grindr right now, there are people within a mile who would be willing to be like ass up on their bed with the door unlocked for me to come in and fuck them.
So is it not as precious as like what? Because that's like your pussy.
It depends. Yep.
For me to take the power.
Pussy. Yeah. It just depends. I mean, it depends on who you're talking to. There are gay men out there who have waited for marriage to have sex, you know, and then there's like gay guys in between like me, and then there are gay guys who are insatiably cock hungry.
Whoa.
Who I have a gay friend who has sex every day with like maybe a roster, but like he has sex every day.
When you were saying like the was that an exaggeration? We're literally leaving the door unlocked.
No, not an exaggeration.
Is like a real thing?
In any way.
Wow.
In any way. Wow. Like they'll give you the apartment code to get into the front door. You'll go up to the 3rd floor. Their front door is unlocked. Their room is dark. There might be music on, and they're ass up. They're on their all fours.
Way.
You don't see their face, and you fuck them, and then like leave.
That's
like a king.
Wild.
Yeah, but and it's just like very like. So on my experience on Grindr has been like I stick to oral sex with hookups. I don't go beyond oral sex unless it's with a regular partner, and that cancels out a lot of my flirting with guys. They're like, oh no, like I'm looking to pound
a butt.
A butt.
And you told me recently too that like sometimes in relationships, gay men will not be like exclusive, but you're like, I'm not going to do anal sex with anyone else because it's like a relationship.
It's just sometimes. Like your open relationship. You have boundaries, and like for me, I've set a boundary like, oh, like butt stuff is for my partner.
Aww.
Yeah, and like, but like a guy could blow me. You know what I mean? Like, and that's not crazy.
I like the idea too of kind of like. I don't know how to say this without probably getting in trouble, but like lessening the value of holes.
Oh, dude, yeah, I completely. The fact that like, okay, so PrEP is a thing in the gay community. It's like a once daily pill that keeps you from getting HIV. It's birth control vibes with AIDS.
Yeah.
or HIV. People are gonna freak out, maybe. But it's really opened the door to casual sex.
Yeah.
Where it's just like guys are on all fours, ass up, like just like taking random loads from strangers.
God. And I think that that's like going back to the tabooness of butt sex in hetero relationships is that it feels more like dirty, like a little bit more. Well, you talk about how like there's a pristine butthole like community and reputation, whereas like there is also a fascination with the dirtiness of it.
Oh, sure. The
and
kink.
That, the kink of it.
It's kinky.
Yeah.
It's kinky.
But I do kind of wish because I think like with the word virginity and like we're losing like virginity being a construct and we're kind of like, you know, we know that sex can be more than just penetration and that it's more of an experience between people. And I like the idea when I say like lessening the value of holes is like, I kind of wish I'm pretty lax about butt stuff. Like, I don't know. It just, I wish it worked for me the way it works so easily for like what I think a lot of like gay men.
Sure. Again, the motivation is there because it feels very good.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
I'm sad that we can't feel like the back of our clit being like knocked like, hello, ding, 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 ding,
But I've never experienced a clitoral orgasm.
The best joke I ever read about sex, like who does it feel better for? Again, like we're using outdated pronouns, but like, is it better for men or is it for women? And it's like when you stick your finger, when your ear itches and you stick your finger in your ear, what feels better, your finger or your ear?
Yeah.
And it's like your ear.
Yeah.
I mean, just purely based on the orgasms I've seen, I've never sex. I've never stuck a dildo in a gay man's butt, so I have not seen the gay man's orgasm from my point of view. But from orgasm point of views, I would say that clitoral orgasms have by far like stretched eons more than any other orgasm I have seen.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, male orgasm is so like, it's so like at the ready. Like any of us could like come in the next 3 minutes if given.
You just say the word.
Yeah. Truly, this can take a turn.
Let's get weird.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there is an apocalypse happening.
Yeah,
so.
you know, it has to get in 17 days.
Honestly, though, but this would be like the weirdest, funniest. Like, if we were the only four that survived, would you watch that sitcom?
They'd be forced to.
That's true.
Sorry. Continue.
Oh no, but I was just saying like the female orgasm seems a little bit more significant.
So moving on to talking about anal sex toys. I have a few here. Everyone can have one.
Those are just
Jared,
always in her couch too.
That's a pink
like the
dildo.
unlucky person who
Kanter,
sits on the
you can
wrong.
hold the smallest. That one's one of my favorites because it's a USB charged one.
Oh, I was gonna say USB.
Yeah. Zach, I gave you the horsetail butt plug. So this is a crystal glass butt plug with a whip
heavy.
attached. So if you put this in your ass, you look like a horse.
Cool. So is this furry territory?
No. That's like BDSM. Like
Well,
it's
you
also
could
a
whip with
whip.
that, too.
Yeah.
It looks like a horsetail.
Oh yeah, but I didn't. It
Does.
just looks like
Or a
it.
very
see that
stuffy
being like a
person's
furry
bathroom
thing.
handle. You know
How
what
do
I
you
mean?
have this in your butt
Look at
and
that.
whip someone with it?
At the same time, you have a very strong butt. And then I've got these tiny little anal beads. So talking about anal sex toys behavior, the National Institute of Health says in partnered relationships, so people who have a partner, and the sexual behaviors by gender and age for sex toys are for men who are in a relationship who have said that they've used anal sex toys in the past month was only 3.6%.
Yeah, sounds about right.
In the past year was 7.7%. And in their lifetime, the amount of men who have used anal sex toys on themselves with a partner is 18.3%.
Wow, still so low. So theoretically, there's 82% of men who have never put something in their butt.
That's so sad to me. And good job on that math so quickly.
It's
very
right.
good. Wow.
It's just worth. I can't imagine having this body for years on years on years and not kind of exploring it.
Kanter
to
doesn't
its
even know what it
extent.
looks like.
Yeah.
What are we going to do about this? Are we going to give you a mirror in like 5 minutes and like a...
Just give me all these toys and then we'll
He
maybe
puts the
sometime
ball in
I'll come
his
out and I'll
butt.
be like,
Okay.
He's
guys
a
clap for
different
me?
person. Yeah, I mean, for females, let's talk about sex toys, anal sex toys, excuse me. The amount of women with a partner who have used a sex toy in the last month was only 3.1%, so less than men. In the year was 7.3, which again is less than men. And in their lifetime is 16.1, which again is less than men. So more men have used sex toys in their lifetime than women as of late, which just keeps
What?
continuing the
But
stereotype.
this is anal.
Anal.
Oh.
So that continues the stereotype that women prefer vaginal intercourse more than anal intercourse.
And I actually think in some ways are women less likely to explore like
I think again it's like that forbidden fruit, like oh my god, if you
Sure.
let a guy do it, like you have to put up with the pain, and like because you trust them and like you're letting them do this thing,
It's
you're
like
willing
a
to put up with
mental
pain.
thing,
I hate that idea
well,
because it makes you feel like it's not yours.
yeah.
But sometimes you want to be taken.
Hell yeah.
Well, but isn't there something to that though? Isn't like because I mean, sex can be a lot of different things for a lot of different people. I mean, this is a total generalization, but it does seem to me that like a lot of women talk more about the context and the nature of if you're in a relationship, for example, of what sex is rather than the actual act necessarily, right?
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, that's a total generalization. I got no facts to support that.
No. I think there's something to that.
But yeah, I mean, and so this idea of, like you said, being taken or like knowing that this is a taboo, knowing that this is wrong, even though I don't like it. I mean, that does seem to line up as maybe.
And plays into it.
Yeah.
And I think, again, it kind of also goes back to the outdated traditionalism of women being less than men. Like they are property. They are to be taken. They are not in power of their own bodies. They don't belong to themselves. So like the best advice I could give is like, women, explore your buttholes.
Hell, everyone explore your buttholes.
Whoa, Zachary.
I have to go feed my meter.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Can I
do you
just
want to
duck
stay
out, duck
for
out?
farting and sharding?
You know what? This is a perfect break for Zach Noe Towers.
Zach is going to go fill his meter, which is not a euphemism. Let's talk about farting and sharding in anal sex.
Ooh.
So I think everyone's worst fear, and I remember when we did adult shit that we had some like horror stories written in once or twice about these, porn bloopers you would see about a girl doing anal, and when it comes out, you like lose all control of your bowels and you just shit all over the guy, whether it be a hookup or someone you like or a crush or even your boyfriend. That's like the biggest fear in your life. Has that ever happened to either of you? How do you deal with poopy dick?
I'm a lot more lackadaisical with it. Like I know it's a really sensitive subject for a lot of women. So like if I did have the opportunity to get in there, I'm a lot more low key. Like if there is a fart, if it is like a little like I'm still
Poopy dick.
very okay with it. Like I'll just wash off after.
Yeah.
But, I'm not gonna like blow it up in her face. Oh my god! Like that's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
really
yeah.
dick move.
And I can,
Real dick move.
I can already guess, Kanter, because you are such a Midwesterner that like you
I
would
would
make
apologize.
it your fault.
Oh shit! I'm so sorry.
That must be my shit. I don't know. Somehow it must have come out my ass.
This isn't bad. I'm like putting it in my mouth. I'm like, yeah, it's good.
You're like, I
She's
love
like,
this
don't
actually.
do that. Don't eat
This
this.
is my favorite thing.
Yeah,
I'm
this
so
is
glad
great.
you did it. Have you ever had anything?
Haven't experienced the poopy dick. I mean,
Oh, wow.
but farts or anything in that sort of
Queefs.
realm.
Big fan of queefs. You can't tell the difference. Can
Yeah,
you guys tell
yeah.
the difference between a fart and a queef?
Nope.
I mean,
Kanter's laughing.
Kanter
I
knows.
can take a very comical approach to
Go.
first of the two.
Yeah.
Well, it's a fart is more the low end. Wait, a fart is more like a, and then a queef is more like a. That's an elementary school joke, ladies and gentlemen.
How'd you do that?
And I would argue with you that my pussy is way looser.
Well,
than
that was I think maybe more like this. Wait. Oh god. I used
That's
to be
what my
so good at
queefs
this.
sound like.
Yeah, it's like it's inverted. Yeah.
I stand by the fact that I don't think dudes know the difference. And I think so many women are so afraid of queefing that they're like, oh, it was a fart, I swear. And sometimes like your bellies rub together or your chests
Yeah,
rub together and
right,
they
right.
got
Yeah.
a farting noise.
A lot of farty noises.
But my
I
advice
never
is just
ca-
like do
Who
it.
the fuck cares? It's a no. I mean, it's a noise. I mean,
It's a
yeah.
noise. That's such a beautiful thing. It's a noise.
Yeah.
It's a noise.
Yeah.
When you put it that way,
Right.
why are we so ashamed of air? Why are we so ashamed of a noise?
It's a smelly noise.
Zach,
I think that might be problematic.
you think it's a smelly? Farts are
Well,
smelly.
farts,
Queefs aren't
yeah.
smelly.
Oh no, not queefs. Farts. Yeah.
Zach, why are we so afraid of a simple noise during sex? Like if someone were to fart during sex, why are we so terrified of that?
Probably the smell.
Now, we just talked a little bit about
I hate that.
straight
That, like-
dudes and queefing and farting. What about gay dudes
Like-
and farting?
Of course, I hate a bunch of things here. Like that it's like edited out of porn. So we watch porn and we don't hear the like the air pocket that happens, or like sometimes the guy's dick like pushes like an air bubble like out of you. So like it's not a fart. It's just like what happens. It's like gack, you know, when you put your hand in the gack tube.
So does it happen a lot with gay anal sex?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so it's just kind of like an understood thing. And if you're laughing about it, you're fucking childish and you shouldn't be having sex anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I think the adult, if there are two adults in the room, I'm fingers crossed. Like they're like, yeah, that's an unfortunate byproduct of what we're doing with our bodies right now.
Also, the idea of anal sex and cleanliness, especially I think with gay sex, it's one hole.
Yeah.
And unless you stick it in your eye, you're having a clean time. But with vaginal sex and anal sex and the two holes being so close together, to me, it's just like yeast infection city.
Oh, wait, from double dipping?
Double dipping and just it.
Is that a thing where guys will go bounce back and forth?
Yeah. It's like.
Kanter is like, not in my experience.
Jared
back
is
in my
familiar.
glory days. Was
Your
definitely
glory hole days.
Glory hole days. Has anyone done a glory hole? I'm looking at Zach.
No.
Then I know neither of you do.
Glory hole is insane to me. The fact that no one's put like a little guillotine on the other side of a glory hole blows my mind.
I'm sure if you go on like 4chan, you can find it.
That's the definition. Like that's the definition of how horny men are. That they'd put their dick where they can't see it and hope for the best. Insane.
I mean, that's part of the kink of it, right? Is you're just like, who's gonna touch it?
Sure.
What's gonna touch it?
And it's like it's an equal. It levels the playing field for like what is attached to the dick. You know, it could be like a losery guy. You know what I mean? It's just like a disembodied dick. Yeah.
So we touched a little bit on douching and anal douching. The story about the Valentine's Day sex that was the audio was fucked up. I had my best friend who was also gay. I hate saying like my gay BFF, but that's a word. Okay,
my
whatever.
Gay.
My gay. All day he was telling me like what to eat, how to clean it out. Like he said, you have to literally put your finger in there and like scoop it around like you're getting ice cream out of a tin
With water in there?
No, like with your finger.
Well, like, it's so many.
Or like a baby wipe.
Like in general, I use baby wipe. Like I have baby wipes instead of when I go poop, I use a baby wipe and I kind of just like clean the whole area.
Baby wipes are great.
Yeah, they're perfect. And it's like, it gives me a boost of confidence if spontaneous butt stuff were to happen in the day. I'm like, I'm relatively very clean back there.
With women, you wear jeans for 20 minutes and your pussy is a swamp.
Oh, but do some guys love that? Like,
I've never met a guy who's like, let me taste your sweaty pussy.
Really? Oh, that's a shame. There's like a thing in the gay community where they're like anti-deodorant, like cologne. Like they want like a very like man smell.
No, not for me.
They don't want like a musk down there?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
How about douching? Let's
talk a little bit about the dangers of anal. The American Cancer Society reports that
you get cancer.
Receptive anal intercourse also increases the risk of anal cancer in both men and women, particularly in those younger than 30. HPV
Because it hasn't like calloused over.
Oh,
it hasn't like become like a
HPV is the main cause of anal cancer, but apparently anal intercourse in particular increases the likelihood that the virus will attack the anus or rectum. Multiple sex partners is also listed as a risk factor for anal cancer. Again, the woman is experiencing So women in heterosexual relationships are the most at risk for butt cancer?
Wow.
I know in general, being
right.
on the receiving end of unprotected anal sex is the most risky thing you can possibly do.
Absolutely. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention, also known as the CDC, who I'm sure you guys have been hearing a lot from this week, just released in August 2016 a new fact sheet on anal sex and HIV risk. The first statement on the page says, anal sex is the riskiest behavior for getting and transmitting HIV for men and women.
By far.
And I think everyone knows that, right?
No.
I wonder if that's going to change as more women get cervical cancer. Okay, so we didn't even talk about condoms, and I know people are probably going to write in talking about condoms, and I'm just going to say it, and I'm sorry, I don't like them, hate them.
I hate to echo that, but I mean, but again, I'm not having penetrative anal sex.
I guess I've been in so many relationships too.
Could you imagine putting a condom on a dick before you suck it? Like that's what institutions would have you do.
And
but
that's
like,
why I think
not as long as I'm walking the earth will I ever do that.
And I think that's like what healthcare is kind of starting to understand is that less and less people our age are using condoms. So it's less about finding out ways to make us use condoms and more about ways to solve the viruses and the STDs and I's that we're getting, right? Like chlamydia used to be literally like a death sentence back in the old age, or like syphilis, right? You would get that and you would fucking die. There was like a syphilis plague from that book that I recommended a few weeks ago. And now it's like you take pills for 10 days and you don't fuck for a little and like who cares?
But the problem with that is like even with the PrEP that I was talking about, since PrEP's come on the market, other STDs have gone through the roof, and now there's super versions of them that can't be cured with antibiotics.
No. I don't know how to make this conversation productive and safe for confidants because I don't like them when I don't need to.
And here's the
them.
deal: you can even be having, say, you have unprotected sex with your partner, your main partner, and you use condoms with everyone else. There's still the factor your partner could cheat on you. You know what I mean? There's still you're never going to be fully safe. You know, so it's about minimizing risk. So judge the situation, have open, honest communication, do your part, get tested every 3 months, but you know, stay on top of it.
Because I know my sexual health so well that I feel like maybe I'm too trusting of other people.
Absolutely.
And it's definitely gotten me in trouble. Like the audience knows I got chlamydia the second time I had sex, and I was like, oh my God, I'm ruined forever.
What'd
and then
you
I was
get
like,
first time?
Nice.
A bad reputation and a fucking rash on my ass from fucking in an F-150.
Hell yeah. That would happen in Florida for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Duh. How do you guys feel about condoms and butt stuff?
I can't wait. They're like, oh, love them.
super into condoms. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anyone is like, sex in general is better with I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, but I mean, I always assume, especially just dating. I mean, you gotta have. I mean,
do you ever date? This is very personal. You don't have to answer it, but like you're dating right now. Do you ever like meet a girl at a bar, take her home, and then not use a condom? Oh yeah, he's smiling. Okay, got it. But I mean, like, hello, that's
that
our
would
culture.
that would not be typical though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sure.
there are
And it's because you're so trusting of the other person, right? Like, I think I'm just so honest that like.
Or I mean, a lot of people, there's alcohol involved, and just your judgment is not good.
How do we make this conversation productive?
Well, I think it's like what Zach said. I think it's you just minimize the risk as much as you can. So if you're dating and this is your first time engaging in sex with a particular person, I mean, probably should be prepared to use a condom. I mean, and just like, and if you like the person and they like you and it continues, then great. Then you can sort of learn about each other more and then.
Now, what about with anal sex? Do you find that anal sex with condoms is harder, easier, better, worse?
I've literally never tried.
It just seems like it's. I mean,
feel like that
already so difficult to enter the gate, so to speak. That
the only times that I've had anal, it's been like very drunk and like a very kind of
throw caution to the wind.
Caution to the wind kind of day. So that's.
And then again, I think about like the women who are in that position are like, again, I think maybe just like either they're blissfully ignorant or unaware about their sexual health, or like clearly if they're doing certain sexual behaviors that you would just be updated on yourself. I don't know.
Yeah, you're giving people
guys. Confidants. Please don't come for me on this conversation. It's not something I feel confident. It's not something I feel confident about.
Don't
I'm confidently
come for me on this sex episode.
Or do come for me. It's an anal sex episode. Okay.
They definitely won't come for you then.
To round out, because we have been going for a very long time, I wanted to talk a little bit about like if any of our confidants want to try anal sex for the first time. There were a couple steps, and I'm going to read them, and then if you guys have anything to add or take away, that would be great.
Sure.
Step 1, relax. I think so much about anal sex is mental. 75% of it is.
You just gotta loosen up.
Almost all
literally.
It's truly. I've enjoyed it more when I've mentally wanted that man inside of me. So if there's any sort of like doubt about who's about to penetrate you, you're instinctively. You have 2 sphincters. I'm pretty sure everyone does. What? The second one is not. Yeah. There's
What?
a second one.
Inside your own butthole?
Yeah. So it's the first sphincter and then there's the second sphincter.
Wow.
So the whole thing is like getting the second sphincter to relax, which is almost like your subconscious sphincter.
Jeez.
Do we have two sphincters? There are numerous sphincters in the human body, including those that
Damn.
control the release of urine and feces.
Yeah.
There are two sphincters at the anus. I did not. Did you guys know that?
Nope.
There you go. Yeah. So it's about like, and truly, like, I think that's sometimes the wall people are hitting. Like,
Wow.
so it's like, for me, the best anal sex has been like a dude that I was
Really
very into, and
Very
like the
cool.
idea of him
Yeah.
like being inside of me was like relaxing me.
And again, I think like what Kanter said, unless like the pain is something that like you're into, I think all of these steps should be considered. Like you should really think about it and make sure that like you're with someone that you trust and that
Yeah,
like if they
yeah,
do have
yeah.
poopy dick, it's not going to be a big deal. Or like, I don't know, if you bleed, I've heard that a million times. Like
Well, it
lube, lube,
doesn't-
lube, lube, lube,
you
lube,
don't-
lube.
There's no natural moisture. I mean, there's some natural moisture, but that you tear so easy because that
Yeah.
skin's not meant to be rubbed up against
Yeah.
profusely. That's why you transmit things so quickly. It goes into your bloodstream. Wow. You've
Yeah,
done
yeah,
these
yeah.
micro tears in your
Yeah.
hole. And
Say
it's an
that
airlock.
again.
It's so tight that like HIV and stuff dies when it's exposed to air. So if you're airtight coming into like little open wounds, it's like, yeah,
Say that again.
airtight.
Okay, so step 2 is communicate. Again, like I think the more you are open about what you're comfortable with, what you're not comfortable with, and even if you like anal sex and your partner doesn't, I think like that's also something you consider.
Yeah, don't make your partner
Yeah.
do it. It's a great tip.
Lather up, baby. I think lube, lube, lube. If it's your first time trying anal, I cannot. And coconut oil is my favorite.
Coconut oil's the
Good
shit.
shit.
It's the best. We have tried so many lubes. Oh my God. Everyone's like, okay, this one's the best. Everyone's like, trust me, this one's the best. Water-based, oil-based. And it's like, nothing beats coconut
Is
oil.
it water-based that eventually gets sticky,
Sticky.
again? And you're like, what is going
Yep.
on?
Yeah,
Rough.
yeah. So lube, 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 lube. Lots of foreplay, I would say. Like, Zach, you even talked about like dudes jerking themselves off while getting railed. I think that's such a fun visual. Like, it's a never-ending dick jerk.
Yeah.
It's like a double jerk.
Never-ending dick jerk.
I think for women, especially because we don't have that prostate, to foreplay with all the functions will definitely help you relax and kind of get in that state of mind. I wrote down assume the position because there are certain positions that are better.
Yeah.
Is there anything better than being on all fours?
Hands down for me, it's on my back.
On your back.
Like a pretzel.
Like on my back, like how
Legs
you guys
up?
would have missionary, like missionary. Maybe like me with my legs kind of on his shoulder. You know,
Wow.
Oh,
something
I
like
hate that when it hurts my fucking hamstring.
I would
so
not
much.
have guessed that, but that actually makes
A lot of sense.
a lot of sense.
It's
Yeah.
so good. Doggy style actually hurts me sometimes. It's like an angle thing. I
Oh,
feel like
really?
it hits a
Interesting.
wall faster.
Like the top of the
don't
butt
know,
or the
it just-
bottom?
the top of the butt or the bottom.
Like
guess
in the
'cause the
hole, is
prostate's,
it
like,
going
up.
up or is it going down?
I guess that depends on the angle of the dick, or like
Mm.
I don't know. But for me, it's on my back. Like yeah,
I feel like it's easier to hit the prostate like that, right?
for sure.
Yeah. Where's the prostate in the butthole for guys?
You go up and if you put a hook.
Oh, so it's like a G
It's like a
spot.
G-spot. It's a P
Yeah.
spot.
Oh, cool. A P spot. I love that. Go slow. I think so many people make the mistake of just proofing it in
my
there.
God,
But
no.
then I realize sometimes when it's an accident, like when it really truly is an accident, you're already relaxed. And I was like, oh, wait, that wasn't as bad as it could have been. But do
Yeah.
go slow. Because if you're going too slow, you're thinking about it too much and you might tighten up.
Sure.
So maybe, I don't know.
Chop a dick off.
Yeah. Then I put breathing is so important.
Yeah.
Once it's happening, you don't want to hold your breath or anything or pass out. That would be bad.
No.
I put vaginal stimulation. If you have a vagina, do that. And
Also,
then,
can I just say,
Oh, yeah.
breathing in general.
Yeah,
Guys,
breathing.
ladies and gentlemen,
Guys, breathing's great.
You know, the other day, I was just like, I don't think I've breathed in like 2 days.
let's all take a cleansing breath. Ready? Confidants in. Out. Let's do another one. Let's do another
Wow,
one. Let's
that's
do another one. In through the nose. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Out. How many of our buttholes just relaxed? So
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
fucking
You ready to
primed.
explore?
Yeah.
Still super tight.
And lastly, I want to say if you're trying anal for the first time and it doesn't work, that's okay. I can't tell you how many times it didn't work with my first high school boyfriend that I experimented and explored this whole subject matter with. Remember, like when I did finally do it, it was like a fucking victory dance because it failed so many times. You have to kick yourself up or dust yourself off and try again. Don't kick yourself. Dust yourself off and try again. You can dust it off and try again. Try again.
Oh.
So don't be sad if it fails, because how many times has it failed for you guys?
Never.
Like 100%
No.
of the time.
Kanter, 10 out of 10. No success rate.
All the time. Or you get halfway through and you're like, I'm not enjoying this. Cancel clear, you know?
Control, delete. And I also was just randomly thinking about this. If you have animals in your house, hold on with me.
Oh my God.
Like, for instance, we have a foster dog and 2 cats, and we have like a blanket on our bed that we leave on during the day so that if the animals are on the bed, it just goes on the blanket. But sometimes Jared and I will be in the throes of passion and we'll just kind of like do it. And I don't realize how much dog and cat hair is on that blanket. And just be careful about that, because that is also UTI and yeast city. So just like be careful about what you're putting in your butt.
Don't ram any cat hair up your holes is what Kelsey's trying to say.
You'd be surprised. Like after I've been done, I'd be like, oh my God, is that like a fucking cat fluff in between my butt cheeks? The same way you find like a hair.
Sure.
So just like, wash yourself. Always clean after butt sex too, right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Before, after.
You guys, thanks so much for being so vulnerable and open with me. And I would love for all of you to at least tell people where you'd like to be found.
Find me anywhere at Zach Noe Towers, ZACHNOETOWERS.
And on Grindr.
Grindr, if you're within 2 miles.
Hit me up.
We can talk more
I'll
about
be
this
on
butt
all
stuff.
fours waiting for you, baby.
With the door unlocked. Kanter, if any girls want to finally give you your first successful anal experience, where can they find you?
I mean, I guess Instagram.
Do you know how many girls,
number right
every time I put you on my Instagram story, it's so annoying how many girls are like,
This
oh
is
my
great.
God,
You need
he's
to let me
single?
know about these things. This is
Where do people find you?
my name, Stephen Kanter.
With a K.
STEVENKANTER.
Cantar means to sing in Italian. And Jared Lucas, where can people find you?
I am at KapSLap, KAPSLAP.
And you guys, I have some really exciting news. I have launched a spring tea store. We have all sorts of merch on there. For example, springtea.com/Kelsey-Darragh, I think is the link. Let me make sure.
Can you do dashes?
It's not. How do I find what my link is? I sent it to Brooke. Where's Brooke? Oh, she's right here. It's teespring.com/stores/Kelsey-Darragh. I'll fucking link it below.
Yeah, do a link.
Anyways, we have Confidently Insecure sweatshirt hoodies. We have a reusable tote that says "Don't be a dick to the environment," that is based on our environmentalism episode. We have Confidant stickers. We have coffee mugs and stickers that say "Drink coffee and don't be a cunt." And my new favorite that I put, there are leggings that say "These are my sad day pants," and t-shirts that say "This is my sad day shirt." So if you guys want to check out the merch, it will be linked below. I'm going to be constantly designing and adding stuff based on our confidant inside jokes and fun that we have. Also, stay safe during this time, during the COVID. Don't be an asshole. Wash your hands. Explore your butthole, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.